Story 1. You have only got one body, so take care of it. Stay active, even if it is just going for regular walks. Make healthier food choices. Prioritize quality sleep. Any movement is better than staying on the couch. Story 2. Wear sunscreen. If I could offer you only one tip for the future, sunscreen would be it. Long-term benefits of sunscreen have been proved by scientists, whereas the rest of my advice has no basis more. Story 3. Do not waste time on toxic people. They do not care about your feelings or what they do to you, and no amount of convincing them can make them change how they treat you. Once you notice a pattern of mistreatment, cut them off and do not go back. Story 4. A lot of age-old sayings that your parents may have told you as a kid are likely not true anymore. Don't do something just because you've always heard it was good. Take the time to evaluate why a decision does or doesn't make sense for your current situation and act on that. The more you practice critical thinking, the easier and better off your life will be for it. Always understand the why. Story 5. Enjoy high school and college because you only get that experience once. Do not be antisocial and make as many good quality friendships as you can. Be careful who you give your heart to. Story 6. Sunscreen, bare minimum skincare. Don't take good friends for granted, whether childhood or new. Take vitamins and meet your daily fiber intake. Call home more often. Choose to walk more. Story 7. You're the hottest you are ever going to be, even if you are not sure about it. If somebody shows interest, overcome the doubt and enjoy yourself. Every one of us looks back and thinks, I was hot back then. Story 8. Work consistently on your physical health. Don't waste time on things that don't improve your knowledge. Don't be afraid to take a shot. Some of the best learning lessons in life come from failure, so don't be afraid to take a shot and miss. Hopefully you get it in, but if you miss, it's not the end of the world. Story 9. Make all of your choices because you truly want to, not because it is what other people expect of you. Do not make major choices like going to college, going into a particular line of work, or moving out unless the desire comes from you and not someone else or society. Invest in friends who are going to be there for you through thick and thin no matter what is going on, and try to spot that by watching how they treat others. Story 10. Be aware that your partner's family is going to have a huge impact on your life, even if they are estranged, so choose wisely. It's not fair, but it is true. Story 11. My advice: therapy is good. Just know that the real world will hit you over the head with a baseball bat at least once in your life. It will feel like you will never be 100% again. However, while you will not be the same person as before, things will be better eventually. Seeking therapy early helps a lot. Story 12. Don't have kids until you are financially ready and mature enough. Regularly put money into investments such as Roth individual retirement accounts or safer exchange-traded funds, and do not touch it. Choose your husband or wife carefully. Story 13. When people tell you how much they have struggled, believe them. When people tell you that a system you have not been harmed by has harmed them, listen to them. And remember that all pain is inherently equal and worthy of consideration and compassion. Avoid the trap of, I have suffered more than them, why should they get a break? I had to deal with this and so should they. And conversely, they have suffered much worse than me, my pain does not matter. All of these will generally do more harm than good. Story 14. Definitely go to college. It is slacker heaven. An excuse to hang out with your friends for the last couple of desperate years before becoming a wage slave. Story 15. I would say really try to take an honest evaluation of yourself and try to work on areas that need improvement. Then take an honest assessment of the people around you, including friends, family, and coworkers. Try to surround yourself with people who are heading in your same direction and who can help you achieve your goals. This could be a hard thing to do. It means you're going to have to cut out some people. But if you keep your friend circle pruned pretty tightly, you won't have toxic people covertly sabotaging you along the way. Story 16. Enjoy what should be the best years of your life. The older you get, the more weary you become, the more baggage you pick up, and the less colorful the world seems. Try not to lose your sense of youthful playfulness too quickly. Story 17. Don't do things to your body that you can't take back when your brain has fully developed. Every single culture of value throughout history has also held training your body and mind in balance as a virtue. Start and never stop, and your life will be infinitely better than someone existing. Story 18. Wear sunscreen every day on your face and neck. Moisturize your hands. Use prescription retinol on your skin. You don't need a ton of fancy skincare. You just need to be consistent. I started doing these simple things when I was in my teens. I am in my early 40s, and everyone is shocked at my age. I went to my 20-year high school reunion, and every person kept commenting on the fact that I have 0 wrinkles. Story 19. Get quality, consistent sleep. Call your loved ones just to say hi and check in. Find a healthy way to deal with stress. Do not tolerate people who treat you badly. Remove them from your life. Stay quiet sometimes and really listen when someone is trying to help you. Find a way to support yourself and whatever lifestyle you desire without getting into overwhelming debt. Eat a vegetable or 2 every day. Be a little better than you were yesterday. Say sorry when you mess up and hurt someone. Be the friend you wish you had. Wear sunscreen. Story 20. Don't do things because others are doing them. You feel pressured to have the house in the suburbs, have kids, have it all. That's how people end up house poor and miserable. The grass is always greener, so ask yourself why you want something before you do it. We have a tiny house, and I waited until 36 to have 1 child. Do I wish I had a bigger house? Sure. I don't want to clean that house and pay for double the utilities on it, so I'm content with my little house. My son is lovely, and I do feel like I could have another. But I also have long-term financial goals of traveling and saving for this kid's future. So 1 kid is great. I have a lot of friends who appear to have these great lives, only to find that they were miserable and are splitting everything in a divorce. The American dream is exactly that, a dream. If you plan it right, your reality is much more interesting. Story 21. It's never too late to start over. Just because you're in a rough spot doesn't mean you can't change everything around. It's harder and harder as you get older. Story 22. 1. You do not need bangs. You are not going to change him. If he wanted to, he would. Brush your teeth and go to the dentist. Do not smoke. It will kill you, even if you are a good person and want to have a little treat. Story 23. If you think you will have children, open a 529 plan. Even $25 a month over 20 or more years adds up. Then do an automatic increase every year. Adding $25 extra a year to it isn't painful, but again, it adds up. If you aren't sure about having children, open one the minute the child is born. 18 years is still a long time. The number 1 answer, though, is either max out your 401k retirement plan or start a Roth IRA. Again, compound interest is your friend. Someone else already said this, though. Story 24. Think about what kind of companies would be cool to work for. Then periodically browse their open jobs. Find the desired skills they have in common and tailor your education to that. For example, if you want to work in the fashion industry, broaden your horizons beyond designer. Fashion companies need data analysts, supply chain managers, finance people, technology experts, and more. Story 25. Comparison is the thief of joy. Can't remember who said it, but it's so true. Stay in your lane and don't worry about keeping up with others. The anxiety, competition, and debt are not signs of success. Story 26. Stick with it. The tough times feel like forever, but if you are trying to fix things, your efforts will bear fruit eventually. Be patient and don't stop trying to fix the things you don't like about your life. You've got this. Keep going. Story 27. Stay off social media, especially Reddit. Focus on yourself and ignore everyone else. As much as you think your life is difficult, it isn't, and it will improve if you want it to. You don't really have that self-diagnosed attention deficit disorder or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. That's just you disrupting your dopamine with all the screen time, Reddit, and TikTok nonsense. Story 28. Be patient and do your best to find stability and consistency in your life. The pressure to reach the destination early is unhealthy and unrealistic if you are in the top 10%. For the rest of us, It's a matter of continuously building skills, experience, and education. The goal is a long upward curve. It might dip here and there, and sometimes you'll have entire years where it seems like you are going nowhere. However, keep improving yourself, and over time, that curve will go up. Also, be lucky. That part matters too. Story 29, 1. Learn everything you can, and not just in the areas where you have an appetite to know. Instead, be relentlessly curious. Save anything you can. Be wise with your money. Meet everyone you can. And remember that the essential quality to being a great conversationalist is being more interested in talking about the other person than it is in talking about yourself. Courage is the foundation of all happiness. Do not pass up any experience or any occasion to step outside of your comfort zone. Have a conversation with someone new. Try the restaurant that's outside your comfort zone. Take the trip. Introduce yourself to the person you think is attractive. There are exceptions, of course. Drugs, for one. I'm 62 now, and I've known dozens and dozens of people who have wrecked their lives with drugs, not to mention the lives of their families. And every single one of those fools started out thinking that they could handle it. Sit down in a quiet room for an afternoon or a weekend with a notebook, and scribble out what you'd like to have done by the time you're 50. Jobs, education, experiences. Do not edit yourself. Everything is fair game. Write it all down. Then once your well of ideas has run dry, rank them. Really rank them in order of what you want to do the most. Again, do not limit yourself. Once you do that, take the top 3, 5, or 10 and eliminate everything below that. Because one of the tragedies of life is that you don't get to do everything you want. So you have to prioritize. Better to do 5 things really, really well than make a half-hearted attempt at 30. Once you have that list of priorities, map out a plan to accomplish them. Research them. Give yourself a path, a set of steps to take. Whether you're earning your Doctor of Philosophy degree, living in Tokyo, writing your novel, or sailing around the world, there's a path to follow. And, as Aristotle advised, when facing a seemingly insurmountable task, break it into smaller pieces to accomplish one after another. That's how you make the impossible possible. At the same time, choose your guiding set of principles in life. Not necessarily spiritual or philosophical, but rather a way of living that makes you feel good about who you are and what you've done in life. Because ultimately, living just to satisfy your appetites is an ugly way to go through the privilege that's your existence. Remember, in all ways and at all times, it's not always about you. Be a trusted friend, spouse, lover, and colleague. Be cautious with the promises you make, but never fail to live up to them. Never be a slave to your appetites, for they often get in the way of what you truly want in life. 10. Cultivate mentors, allies, and trusted advisors. Everybody knows something, but nobody knows everything, including you. Having a group of people you can readily call for advice is an amazing thing to have in life. 11. Exercise kindness to everyone by giving your time and attention. Write the condolence notes and attend the funerals. Be the first to ask if there's anything you can do to help. Live in awareness that everyone around you is engaged in a unique struggle. Recognize that every single one of us, whether it's your spouse or the janitor in your office, walks through life with a head full of doubt, fear, regret, and hopes. Respect them for their own vivid existences, not out of a sense of noblesse oblige, but in deep understanding that we are all fellow passengers on the very same ship. Story 30. I know it's hard, but save. I like Roth individual retirement accounts. Try and max it out each year. Invest it in index funds. You have so much time on your side for it to make a boatload of interest. Become financially literate as soon as you can. I guess that is the takeaway. Story 31. Take care of both your mental and physical health. They are your 2 most important assets. Build good financial habits such as budgeting, saving, and investing. When it comes to who you spend your time with, choose wisely. You are the company you keep. Forgiveness is for you, not the other person. Do not carry hate in your heart. Leadership has more to do with service than status. Never buy a cheap mattress or work boots. You spend roughly 2/3 of your time in one or the other. The best investment you can make is in yourself. Story 32. Learn how to invest in all kinds of ways. Stock market, cryptocurrency, and my favorite, real estate. Find someone who is doing it and learn from them. Watch videos, read, and read often. Stay active, even if it's just walking every day. Learn to cook for yourself. Understand what is healthy and what is not. Learn macronutrients and micronutrients. Don't be obsessed, but have a decent understanding of how to keep yourself healthy. Listen to your body. Learn to control your thoughts and actions. Story 33. The things you do along the way are both very important to your future and also completely unimportant. It's a paradox, and the sooner you get comfortable with it, the better off you'll be. You can look back at a life lived and see the moments where a small thing changed your trajectory or momentum, and that rippled into a life you never expected. But even though these moments are pivotal and momentous, when you look back at your life, you don't see them. You see the river, not the small changes in the terrain beneath the surface or along the banks that affect its course. The grand effects of these changes, not the changes themselves. Practically, this means that you should try to avoid stress when possible. There are more than enough events in life where stress is well warranted, such as illness, death, or acute misfortune. You don't need to react the same way to small things, even though they might prove to be very important in the long term. Anything could be that important in the long term, but you rarely know that at the time, and you can't possibly go through life treating every situation as pivotal.